Hey everybody, welcome back to Robertson Ranch down here in northeast Georgia. We're a few days past Hurricane Helene and we got about 7.5 inches of rain. A lot of wind, trees down, but so far all our fences are good. This past weekend we went through and fixed what needed to be fixed, and now it's just cutting up timber, which is a lot of firewood it seems like. I turned these cows out on this hayfield, what used to be a hayfield, today, and it's pretty much all summer grasses that are going out. You know, today's October 1st, and it's starting to cool down a little bit, and those summer grasses, they just aren't growing no more. You're not going to see that Bahia and Bermuda and Johnson grass really thriving on growth. They're pretty much stagnant. This field doesn't produce very much cool season grasses just because it was a hayfield for so long, and as you know, cutting hay over and over and over, it kind of is bad for the soil and the seed bank. On the fence lines, there's a lot of fescue and clover. So I'm hoping now that we're going to be grazing this, that fescue and clover over time will make its way up through the seed bank and start popping up. I'm not counting on much grass growth this fall in this field particularly, so I'm just going to go ahead and graze this off what I can and then let it rest until probably May. Our growing season here for spring grasses start growing about end of February, beginning of March, depending on how harsh of a winter we have. But here in this part of Georgia, we don't have that bad of a winter. I mean, it'll get cold, but after about mid-January to end January, it starts to get a little warmer, and then you'll start seeing that 50 to 65 degree days, and that fescue and rye, volunteer rye and clover will start making its way up. I bought a new heifer this past weekend up in Cleveland, Georgia, up in the mountains. It is a non-registered red pole heifer. This is her right here. She is about 10 months old, 9 to 10 months old, and her mama and daddy were pure red poles. I just have to get her registered in my name. She just hasn't done the paperwork yet. But as you can see, I mostly have black cattle, except for a few, like over there, that small red cow, which that's her baby right there, that dark one, that baldy. I'm trying to implement more red cattle in this herd. It seemed like over the summer, my red cow would thrive a lot easier than these black cows would in that summer heat trying to graze. And you know, I'm a spring calving herd. I turn the bull out in the summertime in the dead heat of Georgia heat, and I need these cows to be able to do what they got to do, and so does my bull. I have a black Simmental bull, and he does really well. He's still young, but so far he's done good. And but it seems like these red cows, like she would stand out in the heat longer. She'd be out there 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a 95 degree day grazing, while these other mammals were deep in the woods trying to find a little bit of shade. Which, no matter what, your cows got to have shade in the summertime, but if you're trying to get some pounds put on every day, it's a little bit harder on these black hides versus those red hides. And we're moving towards farm to table regardless. So a black hide, it doesn't really matter if it brings 10 or 15 cents more at the sale barn. Our calves aren't going to be going to the sale barn here in the future. They'll be getting fed out on grass fed and possibly grain finished or grass finished beef. I haven't decided yet. If any of y'all have any opinions, put it in the comments on grain finished versus grass finished beef. I've only eaten grain finished beef. I've heard horror stories over grass finished, and I've heard good things over grass finished. I'm not really sure which would be better. It might be a trial and error scenario where I have to do both and just figure it out, which is fine. That's what it's about. But if you have any opinions on it or suggestions on grain versus grass finished, please let me know. I'm not really big into the GMO world. You know, feed costs a lot anyways, so trying to keep as much profit is the name of the game, you know. And I don't know if there's any kind of organic feed that's inexpensive or feed that's inexpensive in a way. I don't know if there's any such thing as an inexpensive feed. Also, I hear some guys feed their grain on their finishing steers about 60 days before harvest. Some say 90, some say 30. It seems like it's very opinionated and very diverse in how people do it. I know it's always different for everybody and different things work for other farms. And that's everybody's opinion for themselves, which is great. At the end of the day, it's your own opinion, and what you do is what you're going to do. It's whatever you want. But I am open to suggestions and opinions, and if you have any education on it, I'd love to hear about it. But as you can see, I mean, this forage isn't nothing to write home about. It's Johnson grass eating its way out. There's some foxtail, horse nettle, which these cows don't really fool with the horse nettle very much. The horse nettle is starting to die out. A little bit of Bermuda, Bahia, a little bit of clover. On the edges there's more clover, but out here in the middle there ain't too much. This Johnson grass starting to die out. As you can see, that's as tall as it got, maybe 1.5 feet tall. And it hasn't been grazed in a long time, and you know how fast Johnson grass can grow. But yeah, that's it. Just want to check in. She's still bawling. I bought her 9-10 months old, and she never got weaned off her mama, so she's still complaining about it. I'm not sure which genetics I'm gonna go with this herd. I've been running Simmental and Semi-Angus, and I love my Simmental bulls. I love the white-faced cows, and I've considered South Pole after a few years of running with this Simmental bull, but I ain't decided. I like Red Angus. You know, I like Hereford. It's all a mix, really. At the end of the day, if the beef tastes the same, that's what matters. But I know genetics plays a really important part on success, and I'm willing to find the genetics I need for success. But obviously that comes with more money. Good genetics typically means more money, but they're supposed to pay for themselves, right? So I'm gonna get on out of here. Here's a little short video for y'all. Oh, I also have this field. This field's not even fenced in. It is set up by poly wire. You can see the post right there. Temporary post and poly wire on reels. This is used to be our hayfield. I stopped cutting it last year, and now I'm gonna start grazing it. Either strip grazing it or rotational grazing it. You can see the fence line where the farm gets fenced back in. I have 2 gates on that side and then down there. The winter project is to fence this in. It's about 20 acres ish, give or take 1 or 2. And it'll all get fenced in before the spring flush comes back. Just gotta clean up that whole fence line and get some timber cut, which we're supposed to be getting some timber cut this winter, so we'll see how that goes. There's some big fencing projects coming up this winter, so that'll be some action-packed videos to see besides me standing in the field all day. But anyways, I'm gonna get on out of here. I'm gonna go do on some other stuff. Y'all have a good day.